She's like Rambo meets Forrest Gump meets I, I don't know.
That's
Meets
good.
Laura Croft. Laura Croft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what she was.
With the cartoon boobs. Is that why
Oh,
you
man.
say Laura Croft?
No, well, I meant more towards like the stunt, like the action woman stunt thing. But yeah, I guess the boobs are just kind of
Because
a
they stand
coincidence.
out.
Hey, El Toddo,
What's going on?
we got a podcast, The Buff and the Blazer. If I was a listener, where would I go to find more?
You can check us out on our website, thebuffandtheblazer.com. Drew over there writes a article that goes along with every single episode.
You can find all kinds of little extras on the articles, and you can listen to the podcast right there. Also, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, we're on Twitter at Buff and Blazer. Follow us there.
Get those clicks, people.
The Buff and the Blazer.
Welcome to the Buff and the Blazer, episode 18. As always, I'm Drew, and I'm here with El Toddo.
Yo.
And today, we're discussing a little film called The Hunt, directed by Craig Zobel. And this is one of the ones that got released early onto digital from the theater. And so we paid $20 each to watch this.
Boo.
And I'm going to ask you, El Toddo, was it $20 well spent?
No. Not at all. No, this is like the first movie we've done on the podcast that I'm actually pissed that I spent $20 on it because it was an awful movie. And I was pissed coming out of it. The good thing was that it was short. That was like the best thing about the movie, that it was an hour and a half long, because
Yeah.
I was over it about 15 minutes in.
Fair enough. Yeah, this movie's pretty bad. It's funny, I got through the first scene on the airplane, and I was like, this has to be a comedy, right? So I look in, the credits to see what the genre is that they listed, and it's listed as a horror film. And I was like, oh no, this movie's going to take itself too seriously. And they do. I enjoyed Betty Gilpin in it, but other than her, really, it had some cool, like, violent action sequences, but other than that, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only good thing about the movie is some of the action and some of the gore. But to list this as a horror movie, like, it's in between everything. You know?
Yeah.
It's like trying to be funny, but it's not. It's like trying to be provocative in a political sense, but it's not. It's not scary in the slightest sense, and there's like a little bit of action. So it's just like it whiffs on every level.
Yeah, well, let's get into it anyways. We'll get into the story now, but the first thing I thought of after I saw it was a reviewer I used to watch a lot of, John Schnepp, who passed away. But anyways, he was critiquing Batman vs. Superman at the time when that came out. And he said something like, the movie is like a ball of unformed clay. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Basically what he's saying is the movie doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the case for this movie.
Yeah.
Like you said, it tries to be funny. It's funny unintentionally.
No, it's like slapstick, step on the rake and hit yourself in the head funny.
Yeah, like there's moments where it seems like they're trying to be funny. Like there's the sequence in the beginning where with the first few deaths and like the actress falls into the pit of spikes.
Yeah.
And it takes her like 5 minutes to die. It's clearly funny, but it's like that's not the vibe they were going for though, like throughout the whole picture. So it was just really confusing. Like it was a total mishmash of like genres. It had some horror elements. It was trying to like convey some kind of message that didn't come across very well. Also the dialogue was just like so on the nose, unimaginative.
Yeah, it's like a couple of maybe college sophomores had to write a
Yeah.
mock movie in a political science class.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like MSNBC versus Fox News.
In like the most
Like
outlandish and caricatured way, but not in a smart way,
Right.
like Jojo Rabbit
yeah, no.
per se. You know,
Right, exactly.
It's just done with, I don't know. It's just so such a whiff.
It's so done.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like not even anything provocative about it. They're just like reinforcing these completely stupid stereotypes on both sides. And then
Yeah,
like the
like-
message at the end doesn't do anything to bridge the gap if that's what you're trying to do with the movie.
Yeah. And I felt like this was the worst example of a like don't judge a book by its cover message. But that message is just so boring to begin with. Like if you're going to do that, you can come up with something a little more interesting than what we got with The Hunt.
Yeah, it's like they thought they were being super clever with how they didn't really do the whole manor thing, but they're doing this out of revenge because they all lost their jobs because of it.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's just so stupid.
At first I
sorry.
I thought it was like at first I thought it was some kind of like revenge film against liberals. And then I was like watching it and I'm like, nope, there's stupid on both sides. So they're just really trying to hammer home this like don't judge a book by its cover message.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to point out the ridiculous nature of both sides.
Yeah, I mean there's so many clever ways you could do that in a film. This is just like crap.
Yeah, it's total crap, dude. So South Park's, famous analogy of when it's time to vote, you have a choice between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. That's essentially the same thing here. And
Yeah.
as goofy and immature as the South Park example sounds, they executed this 10 times better than it was done here in The Hunt.
They were probably a lot more mature about it.
The South Park guys were more mature by
Yeah,
using
that's what
a
I'm saying.
giant douche and a turd sandwich. If that tells you how bad this movie is as a metaphor.
Oh man. Okay, so I will say though, like the general premise of the movie with the idea of the hunt, that's a cool idea. Like that's
Absolutely.
a cool story beat.
Absolutely.
It's
been done
what I'm
before.
gonna argue is like, yeah, like if they turn this into a dark horror, just gory slasher, evil film, it would have worked so well. I think with that story beat.
Yeah.
But this, it's like, at first I thought they knew they were being ridiculous with the first couple of scenes, but then after they started to like play into this whole message and trying to get it out there, like and feed it to you, I was like, man, they're taking themselves way too seriously. Betty Gilpin's character, Crystal, she goes off on like a 5 to 10 minute monologue of like the hair story, like the tortoise and the hair.
tortoise in the hair.
And I was just like, man, I'm like, what are they doing here with the writing? And the guy who wrote this film, Damon Lindelof, he's written for TV. He's written a bunch of movies, so I was kind of surprised. Like he's done a bunch of episodes of Lost. He did Prometheus. He did Star Trek Into Darkness, World War Z. I mean, there's a bunch under his belt, and I was just surprised. I wonder if this was just some kind of like guilty pleasure, something funny he wanted to do.
Or a lost bet. This movie sounds like a lost bet by a bunch of drunk writers. They're all sitting around drinking and came up with a movie. And the bet was, I bet you can't get a studio to make this bullshit. And somebody did.
No, the dare was, I dare you to call up Universal Pictures and pitch this movie idea as an 18-year-old high school grad.
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
what.
oh yeah, okay.
That's what
uh-huh.
the writing sounds like.
But yeah, I don't know, man. There's not a whole lot to say about
Oh,
the
let's.
story other than the potential. Like the potential's all there for this to be really interesting.
Yeah, the trailer and the poster are way better than the movie.
Well, that's the hook, right?
Yeah.
Like I saw the trailer and I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. The poster looks really cool. I saw the trailer in theaters. I forget what film it was attached to, and then it got released. And even with the Rotten Tomato score of 56,
Bullshit.
that's not an awful score. That's not an awful score.
That's better than
So I was
something we just did. That was way better than this.
Yeah, was it Pet Cemetery?
Yeah, well, Pet Cemetery sucked, but it was way better than this movie.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I try not to dump too hard because I know like no one sets out to make an awful movie. Like I firmly believe that.
I don't know.
But this
man.
just
There's
feels like
Sharknado. Isn't that the joke of all those Sharknado movies? Isn't that the whole joke?
But see, at least in the title, that's implied that their movie's ridiculous, and they know it. Like, you're not going to make a film called Sharknado and not have it be ridiculous.
Yeah.
This, like, what they were selling in all the marketing made it seem like this could be something really different, and it was just poorly executed. In terms of, like, I'm talking about the script, I'm talking about the characters. The characters don't have an arc. They stay the same from start to finish.
Yeah. Every single one of them.
Including the main character, Crystal.
And there's not
She
even
doesn't-
like a draw in to her until maybe
No.
the last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
And like her introduction was cool. I was like, okay, there's some mystery behind her.
Yeah, I liked
know?
when she busted out the little needle and
Yeah, with the
magnetized
compass.
it and put
Mhm.
it in the water. That was a cool little survival trick.
That was cool. I mean, clearly she was the smartest one in the film. And it was fun to watch her like kick ass and stuff, but other than that, I just couldn't get into what they were trying to sell me. I felt like a baby being force-fed like mashed up peas. Just like, no.
Yeah, and the part I really don't like is how all the liberal elites in the show,
Yeah.
it doesn't really like explain why they're so elite. Like, yes, they're CEOs, but none of them are politicians.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't have a movie like this without, if you are going to go with the storyline of like these liberal elites hunting,
Yeah.
you know, rednecks or Republicans or whatever, conservatives, whatever you want to
Mhm.
slap the name on.
Yeah.
If it's not politicians, they're just like spoiled rich kids, essentially.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like all the surface level treatment of every character.
Yeah, it's
Like-
so shallow.
Like Hillary Swank's character Athena, she's supposed to be like the mastermind behind all of this. We have no idea what her background is. Like hardly at all.
Besides, she's a CEO that loses her job in a Twitter rampage, it sounds like.
Yeah. And like that does nothing for me to sell for me to buy into why she's doing what she's doing. Like, oh man, everything was just so surface level. I don't know. And like I would have been fine if they stuck with the comedic elements.
Yeah, right. If they
And-
leaned into that way harder.
This could have been great. This could have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, if it was pitched as a comedy,
Mhm.
would have been much better.
Yeah. When you start talking about like the hare and the tortoise and all this stuff, I don't know. It just lost me.
Yeah, and then the believability of any of it. It's like you can make a movie like this that's way more believable than how ridiculous this whole thing is.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, like they have some ninja private jet with staff that don't have a clue what's going on. Like right when the movie started, when he murders or attempts to murder that guy in the plane,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is kind of interesting. You know, it's like nice and violent,
That's what I thought too.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then it just like keeps dragging on, and the cheese of the character development
Yeah.
just gets laid on thicker and thicker and thicker, and there's like no depth to any of the fucking characters. And I was just like, man, this movie really sucks. I hope they bring it around at the end, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then nope. I enjoyed the ending from a violence and like a retribution standpoint.
Yeah.
But is a movie like this designed to get people out of their camps? You know, the two polarized camps that the world is stuck in, or the States is stuck in right now. Like, is it designed to like bridge the gap, or is it designed to, you know, widen it?
Yeah.
It
I know.
totally whiffs on every angle.
Yeah. Like some of the lines, I should have wrote a lot of them down, but it's just like I was rolling my eyes like 70% of the movie. I'm like, I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but this is so on the nose.
Yeah, and they're like trying to say something, you know, I guess kind of deep about like call out culture and media and how things can just like get taken out of hand, and they just fucking whiff on every topic.
Yeah, and I feel like the script seems like they were literally lines that were just lifted off of like the teleprompters from Fox News and MSNBC.
Right, and that's where I keep getting back to. It's like it was a fucking drunk bet. They're like, I bet we can we'll make a drinking game out of it. We'll stay up all night and we'll have, you know, Fox on this TV and MSNBC on this TV, and we'll just like pause it and write down what's on the headline and make a movie out of that. That's what it felt like.
Like one of the first references is in the beginning opening like action scene was like they mention one of the characters calls the other one a snowflake because they're like not being tough enough, and then I can't remember if they mentioned something about like veganism or avocado toast or some shit. Like
All that shit.
everything you've ever heard of, every stereotype you've ever heard of
On both
in this film.
sides.
On both sides. And like yeah, even I was rolling my eyes. I was just like, man, I don't know what you're trying to sell. Like I think I know what message you're trying to give.
I don't fucking know what message they were trying to give at the end of the movie. You know what I mean? Like even the resolution is like such a whiff too. It's like, okay, she quotes, what is it, a Orwell novel or some shit
Yeah.
at the end of the movie. And so she is, I don't know, educated, or what's the fucking message at the end of the movie? Like she says she's not the girl who posted online, even though she has the same name.
Right.
So I don't get it.
The message I got at the end was, "Oh wow, you're a dumb country hick, but you're still smart." It's like, yeah. There's people like that.
I mean, there's dumbass people on both sides.
I know. That's what I was saying. Like that's why I had my eyes rolling the whole time. I'm like, you don't need to tell me this. Like clearly.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
It was annoying. I don't know.
Maybe the folks at Fox News and MSNBC need to see this movie, but other than that,
yeah, right. I mean,
I think the average person gets it.
If Fox News, if they watched this movie, they would do a story on it the next day and bring on some expert saying, "Yep, you know, we knew this was true. They even made a movie about it. They're rubbing it in our noses." You know, and they'll get all fired up and they'll get some blonde lady screaming or something.
Yeah, shout out Sean Hannity.
Yeah, and then on MSNBC, there'll be like this insanely pretentious article on how Fox News thinks this movie is real. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Dude, I want to see a movie of them, like, just spoofing on, like, the anchors at both the news organizations, and I want to see them hunt each other. That'd be a badass movie. Like, that'd be way more entertaining.
It just feels like an improv sketch.
Yeah.
that some, washed up actor gave out as an exercise, and the team of kids put this together and performed it on stage. That's what this movie feels like.
Yeah, this is a short film assignment for someone in a film class sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, with a teacher that's been watching too much news.
It got an A.
It's provocative.
Oh, man. I want to get into the part of the film that I actually quite enjoyed, which was Betty Gilpin. I thought she was fun. She was fun to watch. I thought she had a cool physicality. Some of her lines were awful, and it's not really her fault. That's just all the writing. But I can't pin anything on that, on the actors.
I don't really understand her whole crazy.
Yeah, she has this.
She has
weird,
a tick.
Yeah, she has.
But they
kind of,
don't develop it at all. They just at one point in the movie she has an extremely awkward social tick, and then it's not there in the rest of the movie.
It's she has a weird PTSD thing going on that they don't talk about.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it was fun to watch her kick ass.
No, yeah, for sure.
And she was the smartest one on screen. That was kind of cool.
Very Rambo-y.
Yeah. She's Rambo meets Forrest Gump meets I don't know.
That's
meets
good.
Laura Croft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what she was.
With the cartoon boobs. Is that why you say Laura Croft?
No, well, I meant more towards the stunt, the action woman stunt thing. But yeah, I guess the boobs are just kind of
because they stand out.
Yeah, but no, she's I watched a bunch of interviews with her, and I'm familiar with her work. She's Emmy nominated for the show Glow. I haven't seen much of it, but yeah, she's one of those actresses that everyone just loves. She's hilarious. She's really cool, and she's good at what she does. And it sucks for her that she had to be in this.
I don't know. She probably got paid.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Got to play like a total badass.
The other thing I thought was cool, too, is you had some pretty, not so much huge names in the beginning, but some recognizable actors in the beginning that totally get wiped out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, everyone.
That was cool. Emma Roberts. Emma Roberts comes up, and I'm like, oh, shit, that's Emma Roberts.
She gets... What's her character? Yoga Pants?
Yeah. Yeah, see, Emma Roberts is in this movie, and her character credit is Yoga Pants.
Yes.
There's a problem here. So that's where I'm confused, too. It's the film knows how ridiculous it is, but it's still trying to take itself seriously.
Yeah.
That's where I was confused. Because usually films will do that, and they'll say, we're meant to be ridiculous, and we're going to run with that. But this is we're ridiculous, but we need to tell you that there's a story about a hare and a tortoise.
No, it's
don't judge a book by its cover.
It's trying to be too many things and not committing to anything.
Yeah. And what sucks, too, is they could have committed to any one of those beats and had been a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
If they stuck with a straight horror slasher vibe, that would have been cool. If it was a total slapstick comedy, that would have been awesome.
That would have been a lot better. And I expected that with what's his name? Glenn Howerton? Dennis from fucking It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw him. I was like, hey, it's Dennis.
Yeah, and he's just basically himself.
A little more I felt like he was at a 3 in this movie. And normally he's at an 8 for me, and It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Well, he's not in the movie much. I was thinking about it today. I watched it last night, and most of the people in this movie, I bet were only on set for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I watched an interview with the director, and he was talking about casting people like Emma Roberts, and he was like, yeah, I was just straight up with him. He was like, this is what the movie's about, and just an FYI, your character's gone in the first 2 minutes. And apparently she was like, I'm down. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you had but besides Betty Gilpin's character, Crystal, cuz she's obviously the favorite character for
Yeah.
everyone, I'm sure, or the pig.
oh yeah.
Cuz I
pig doesn't
think
get a
everyone
credit.
else in the movie is dead by the end of
Yeah.
it, and none of them are likable in any way, shape, or
Let's see.
form.
Mr. Pig doesn't even get a credit.
On the poster and everything, you don't get a fucking credit.
I
But
know.
if you had to pick a favorite character, who would it be?
Other than Crystal, like the main character?
Yeah. Tough one, isn't it?
Nah, they were all equally awful. I don't know. I thought Hilary Swank played like a Hilary Swank type character. Just kind of that vibe.
And she's in the movie for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that was my favorite part of the film, like the fight scene at the end.
Yeah, that was good.
That was cool. That had a very like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood kind of feel to it at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was entertaining.
The gun violence was a little cheese,
Yeah.
like with the explosions and
Grenade in the pants.
yeah, that stuff was a little cheesy.
I
But
did quite enjoy
the physical
the
violence was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the opening, like pick 'em off sequence in the field.
Yeah, right. Like, okay, so it opens and it's that you get the good airplane scene, and then you get, the kind of the mystical reveal of Crystal's character being a
Right.
survival ninja, figuring out which way is north, and they're all gagged, and all that's like pretty interesting,
Right.
And then they like get
Mhm.
the weapons, and then from right after that, like even once they start running and getting shot, you realize like, man, this is just like a really stupid movie.
Yeah, like even when they're running around getting shot, I was like, okay, this is fine. But it's when the one character, and I forget which one it was, falls into the little pit with spikes in it, and she's literally impaled. And one of the characters comes over to her and is like trying to talk her through it and trying to pull her off the spike like she has a shot. And it's like it takes like 5 minutes, it seems. And I'm like, wow, they're wasting their time on this. And then at one point she's like completely missing the bottom half of her body and she's still alive. And I'm like, okay, this is a comedy and this is great. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But that's not what they were going for. So I was like, man, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, it's like they just like come up short on every angle. The message is not there at all. The comedy, it's like there's little chuckles like that throughout the movie, like when she's impaled or when, dude's got arrows in him and he's just like saying, fuck it, I'm going to just run, go out in a blaze of glory. Like that stuff's funny.
Yeah.
And then it just never stays funny, like the next scene it'll be like kind of serious and slow, and I don't know, it just fucking missed. It missed on everything.
All right, I pulled up just one little blurb right here of a review, and this line is, I couldn't have said it better myself.
You gotta give some
So
credit.
she just says, yeah, this is Clarice Lowry, and she's an independent critic, I guess. And she says, no one could possibly be offended by The Hunt because that would require it to contain at least one comprehensible idea.
Bravo. Well said.
So, yeah, I think there were a bunch of people that had no idea what they were going for in this movie.
Yeah, I think the violence and the R rating is where the audience 66 on Rotten Tomatoes comes from.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like an action-y bang
And like,
bang movie. That's really the only positive it has going for it.
And even that wasn't all that interesting. Like, it was the most entertaining part of the film, but like even the action stuff in it wasn't all that entertaining. Like we said, it's like halfway there on each of these little beats that it was trying to play out.
Yeah, it ain't no John Wick action. It ain't action like
That's
in
exactly what I
Anna.
was thinking.
It ain't even close to
Yeah.
action like that in terms of physical violence. people fighting.
Right.
It's not even close to that. And then on the gun side
It's
of it,
not
like I
like-
said before, it's super cheesy.
Yeah. So I think for me, that was my biggest criticism, confusion, disappointment with the whole thing. Was I wish they would have picked one way to go and just ran with it. And I'm not saying like films can't be serious and be funny at the same time. I mean, look at the 2 Taika Waititi films we just did.
I know. But
Like, there's a way to do that.
yeah, but it's a delicate tightrope to walk, because you have to be witty with satire.
Yeah.
You know, like even with South Park, that goes the completely ridiculous satire, like a giant douche in a turd sandwich. There's still, if you listen to the dialogue in those episodes, they're dead on with their message. You know, and same with Jojo Rabbit. It's like the ridiculousness of the Nazis is used so perfectly to demonstrate how ridiculous it is.
Right.
And in this movie, it's just like, we're just going to show how stupid everybody is. You know what I
Including
mean?
ourselves.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And I'm sorry to be such a dick, but I'm pissed I spent $20 on this movie. I could have
Hey,
bought me
you have
2 high-quality cannabis
You have-
seeds that I could have
You have
grown
20
into
good reasons to be
beautiful
upset.
plants.
No, I'm there with you, man. I'm totally there with you. What about you? Did you have a favorite performance or character in the film?
I liked Ethan Suplee's character. Shut the fuck up, Gary. I liked his character, even though he's not in the movie very much. He maybe has like 10 lines. But if I
Yeah.
had to pick a favorite one, it would be him.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't really have a favorite other than Betty Gilpin.
Or the
don't know.
pig, you know.
The pig. Yeah, front and center on one of these posters and no credit. Justin Hartley, I mean, he was in The Arrow, like on the CW. He's like a decent actor too.
What's that, like a
And he was
Robin
another one that
Hood
was killed.
TV series?
Yeah, he plays Green Arrow. It's like DC's
Oh,
superhero
it's not.
character.
It's not Robin Hood.
Not Robin Hood. Or maybe Robin Hood, yeah. If he had like, oh no, he doesn't even have powers. Yeah, he's Robin Hood.
He's Robin Hood?
A rich Robin Hood. He's Robin Hood, but he's rich.
Oh, what a twist.
Yeah, so. So yeah, he was good.
Wayne
But yeah,
Duvall
other
was
than
good.
that, I'm not yeah, I'm looking at this cast. And like you said, it's good to point that out too. There's no bad performances in the film. Like,
no, they all
and
played
even
the
if
roles
they're-
exactly, I'm sure, as they were asked to.
yeah. It's just I was not interested.
You know, like with the times we're in right now, the news makes me, I just hate it. Absolutely. Like I just don't watch. I don't watch anything,
watch
and
it.
I don't want to talk politics with anyone
Me either.
about any of this shit going on, and that's how this movie made me feel. You know?
Yeah. It dragged you back into it all?
No. I ain't dragged back into anything. I am out.
Man.
I will read my pamphlet and vote when it comes time, and that's it. No other energy in my life is going towards politics. Hopefully we watch better movies than this one instead of politics.
I took like real-time notes watching this.
While you were watching it. All right. This is the first.
And
this is a Buff and Blazer first right here.
And like, well, these are just little thoughts that run through my head. So like from the very beginning, I have one line here. It just says hilarious! Exclamation point. Girl in spikes.
Yes.
Very funny.
Tis a highlight of the movie.
This movie is awesomely funny! Exclamation point. Then it moves on. WTF? Question mark. What the hell? And then it just stops. That was kind of like my arc from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, it loses you real quick.
So I guess maybe, yeah, I was entertained in the beginning, and then it kind of stopped being entertaining.
It kind of lost me
And
in the
funny.
gas station.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of lost me. Even though that scene was like dope and the murders were dope, that's where I was like, man,
Yeah.
this story is fucking stupid. Just like the story
It's wild.
is
It's wacky.
stupid. And to
Oh,
think,
man.
like whatever, 11, 12 people would get together and be down to murder a bunch of people like that. It's like I don't think there's that many people just ready to go out and murder.
No one cares that much, I don't think.
That angle of the movie, I think, is where it really fell short. Where, like,
Okay.
none of them were experts. This was all their first time
Yeah.
doing the shit, right? Because that's the joke.
Oh, yeah, the people who are setting up the hunt?
Yeah, all the liberal elites. So this was their...
because it was just like a rumor.
They were...
It was like,
yeah, it was an inside joke that went public, and then
Right.
it got, Alex Jones or whatever and became a real story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they all lost their jobs because of it.
Right.
And so to get revenge for losing their jobs, they decide, let's just murder a bunch of people and devote all these resources to hunting down all these people for spite. Like, it's just stupid as fuck.
I'd be too lazy to do half of that.
Yeah, I thought we were
Which-
supposed to believe that CEOs work the hardest and, get to where they're doing because of hard work.
Yeah.
Not because they're sitting around reading Twitter.
I think we kind of beat that down pretty good.
Yeah, not a good story. Not a good resolution.
Not a good story.
And only one character worth paying attention to.
Yeah, moral of the story. I will say, though, okay, we're transitioning now. So the opening shot of the film, like the slow pan in from the back, all mysterious, that hooked me from the beginning. I was like, oh, this is an interesting way to open. And there were a few sequences that were really well shot and interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And it just sucks how, like, it was just totally, everything felt like it was so disconnected.
Yeah.
Like, the characters were disconnected from the writing, which was disconnected from the story. And then visually, it was disconnected from, like, the comedic, serious element because it just looks so well shot. Man.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't think to show any of the people shooting at that point in the movie. I'm talking from a cinematography standpoint. In the beginning of the movie when everybody's getting shot up, they don't ever really show all the people shooting, and we're supposed to believe that they're just like complete badasses with bows and arrows and stuff out of nowhere.
The most badass liberals you can think of.
Yeah. I don't know. I did enjoy some shots. There were some of the violence action scenes I liked, but there were things I didn't like about them as well. Like in the final fight scene in the house in the manor, they would like go through windows or walls and stuff, and the camera would like go through the wall with them.
Yeah.
But in a way to where you can tell that it's a set.
Oh,
Does that make
I
sense?
see what you're saying.
Like in all the John Wick
yeah.
action and stuff, like that stuff is shot in a room, and the walls have their structure. And I didn't like that about the final fight scene. There was like a few times where they went through windows or walls, and like the camera went through.
Like the camera work was too choreographed.
Yeah.
Too much planning going on.
And not like the camera was following them in a long shot motion at all,
Mm-hmm.
Like those shots where
Yeah.
they're like, okay, action, and they run and jump through the window, and the camera guy goes with them, and it's like cut on both ends.
Yeah.
I didn't like that very much.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. For me, I think one of the better shot sequences was in the beginning with the sniping in the beginning.
Okay.
There's I felt like the cinematographer had a really good sense of being suspenseful with the way things were shot. Like especially when you get the introduction of some of the characters when they wake up in the hunting ground.
Yeah, all that was like real shot, far away and eerie, and it had like a good vibe
and like,
to it.
Like a slow pace, like really long, slow camera movements. That was all done really well, and would have worked if they stuck with that horror thriller element. And then so you have that, and then the complete 180. Like at the end, they're trying to do the John Wick action sequence, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like a different style. It's such a mishmash of different elements.
Yeah. Yeah. Too complex and no
It's interesting.
commitment.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite sequence in the movie that you enjoyed watching? It's okay to say no.
No, yeah, probably in the beginning, like I was pretty invested up until they opened the fucking box.
Yeah.
Essentially like that whole first scene where they're all kind of coming out of the woods and they're all gagged and they're all kind of
Right.
like trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then they open the box and the pig comes out and the rack of guns on a black velvet fucking corkboard or whatever it's like,
Yeah.
okay, seems pretty stupid.
Oh man. One of these days we're gonna have to do like a recorded watch along. Drew and El Toddo.
Okay. And like
'Cause we'll have
pause
to,
it and talk shit.
Yeah. We'll have to do a live commentary, a semi live commentary.
We could do
But
that.
yeah, some of the FX, like the complete utter gory violence was kind of fun. It's so over the top where it was like obviously it's it's kind of comical.
Yeah, I didn't like how when the grenades would go off, the body would just blow into a million tiny pieces. I would have liked to see some legs and some arms. And a head flying around, not
Yeah.
just obliterated. And it happens
Right.
a few times.
Yeah.
Like the guy at the fence who's shot up with the arrows, he gets blown up. And then dude with the grenade in his pants outside of the train. And like that whole part of the movie's weird as hell too.
Yeah, the whole like Russian
Or
element or
Wherever they are.
Bosnia.
Bosnia, somewhere in the Balkans, it sounds
Yeah.
like. Like that whole part's super fucking weird too.
Yeah. None of it made sense.
None of it makes any sense. So like if the Bosnian army is aware that that's what they're doing there, then why are they holding those people?
Yeah.
I don't know. And what was that guy eating? What was like that army commander guy eating? Some type of sweet treat.
It looked like a pickled egg or something.
Oh.
I don't know.
It
That's
looked
what
weird.
I thought. Yeah. Just like the film, the rest of it.
Yeah, and that whole arc of the military is like in the movie for like 7 minutes, and then it's just completely not in the movie anymore.
Yeah, irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant.
It's just like here's this little side plot that we don't know what we're gonna do with.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. You got anything good to say about the score?
I do have something good to say about the score. I thought the score was awesome.
Yeah, it kind of had that funny, goofy vibe that
Yeah.
they should have went with.
Right. Yeah, the score I thought was great. When it was like trying to be suspenseful, it worked. When it had its quirky little moments where it was funny and
Yeah.
underlined the comedy that was going on. It was I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So, the score worked and the acting worked, and that's it.
Right. It was everything pre-production about this film that seems to have missed.
This is really, really bad writing, man. It's like one of the worst written movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, this could be one of the worst I've ever seen.
It's like, I don't know. Steven Seagal movies are pretty bad. You ever watch any of those?
Yeah, where was
terms
he
of
in this
writing.
movie? This
Yeah,
is like totally
right?
up his alley.
Totally.
But yeah, it's I don't know. If they would have stuck with something, I would have bought it. I mean, we literally did buy it. So
Fuckers.
Universal, what are you doing?
Got my $20.
Yeah, see what you did there.
I could have paid I could have paid the $20 to watch Sonic again, and I would have gladly done that.
Not to try and beat a dead horse, but it was a bad movie. And I'm sorry. All right, well,
It's how it goes sometimes. What
It
about
is.
love hates? We got to do love hates.
yeah, I loved the concept of the hunt. I thought that it was interesting, totally wacky, and never could happen, but interesting nonetheless if they took it in one of those directions that we mentioned. And I really liked Crystal as a character, Betty Gilpin. She was enjoyable to watch for me. Like I said, it was shot pretty well. The score I really liked, so I liked the score a lot. And then with my hates, just everything else. Like the writing was terrible. The story, I don't know where the story is trying to go. Just really disappointing. I'm actually really shocked. I usually don't have this strong of an opinion in terms of negative opinion on films, and this one is just really bad. So, yeah, I didn't like a lot of it. What about you?
If I have to pick a love, I guess it would just be the action, the amount of violence that they committed to.
Yeah.
I like that. but that's about it. I didn't really like much about the movie at all. And what I hated about the movie was how bad they whiffed on the characters and the overall message.
Yeah.
It's just trying to be way wittier than you think you are.
Yeah.
Writing the thing. It's just like it came across as just completely a really amateur movie, man. Like it came across like I said before, like a improv class.
Yeah.
Short play that they had 3 days to put together. And the topics, that was the topic. Liberals and conservatives.
Were you smoking anything watching this?
Yeah, I was smoking some Gelato G, some indica from Seedsman that I grew, and it was all right. I wasn't like super lazy. It's a pretty heavy indica, so I
Yeah.
wasn't. I was supposed to be lazy, but I was trying to be engaged with the movie, and the movie was boring. I was just glad it was over. I was like stoked to get an episode of Seinfeld in after the movie because I was pretty bummed out on watching it and spending $20 to watch it.
Sweet. There's a silver lining for everything,
Yes.
no matter how disconnected. All right. So, what do you give this movie on your scale?
I gave it a 1.
A 1.
One bong load.
Ooh.
Yes.
The lone bong.
The only way you should watch this movie if it is just on TV. You should not pay for it. You should not seek it out
Yeah.
to watch it. It sucked. And yeah, 1 bong load.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 1.5 because I see they were trying to do something and they failed miserably. But they had they had goals. And it's good to have goals. And with you, I couldn't in good conscience recommend this movie to anybody.
No.
I definitely don't think you should spend your money on it. If it's playing somewhere on like HBO or something and you're extremely bored, maybe you can give it a good 5 minutes and get a laugh. But
You can make a drinking game out of it if you're going to watch it.
Yes.
So every time there is a horribly stupid cliche, take a drink. And you will be shit-faced 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. You have to do a Fox News versus MSNBC and then tally up the points and see who wins at the end.
Yes.
Actually, that'd be a pretty damn fun game.
No way I'm watching that again.
Yeah, no, I don't have the time for it. So yeah, that's our take on The Hunt. This is episode 18 of The Buff and the Blazer. Thanks for sitting through our rant, I guess, of this one. Sorry it was a little bit of a downer this time, but you can't knock them all out of the park sometimes.
Apparently. This is the worst movie we've done by far. By a long shot.
We're looking to rebound next week.
Extraction next week.
All right. So next up on the docket. But yeah, thanks for hanging with us, and we will catch you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
See you later.